Hello my friends, today I will demonstrate the delta lake feature of the data engineering in very simple terms. We know that in traditional data warehouse there is some drawbacks like data warehouse cannot store the all types of data, it can store only the structured data. So to overcome the drawbacks of the data warehouse, data lake come into the picture. In data lake we can store any kind of data. It may be structured data, it may be unstructured data, it may be semi-structured data. But there another drawback comes of data lake. Because there are numerous sources of data coming into the data lake, there is a chances of data swamp. Data swamp means the untrustworthy data, the inconsistent data, the redundant data, the duplicated data. That means the data exists in the data lake, but the data is not trustworthy. Business cannot take decisions based on that data because in data lake alone, it doesn't have the acid feature. Acid means atomicity, consistency, isolation, and durability. Data lake itself has no mechanism of locking and no rollback mechanism. So suppose the situation there are writing of 10 records, and after 8 records has been written, there is some crash or system crash or server crash have been occurred. In that case, the 8 records have been successfully inserted, but 2 records are not inserted. And since there is no rollback mechanism in data lake, that 2 records are permanently lost. This type of loss is called silent data loss. And this silent data loss is the most dangerous data loss in every data engineering environment, because we cannot track those data which are permanently lost in such inconsistent state. So to overcome these situations, this drawback, there is coming a logic, that is the delta lake, which is on top of the data lake. It provides the data lake, the acid property, the rollback mechanism, and also the locking mechanism of the data in the data lake. So delta lake actually treats the data physically stored in the data that is not treated as data in the delta lake. As per delta lake, they are maintained two things. One is Parquet file and another is the delta log folder. And in the delta log folder, the final commits have been maintained. So in the data lake, it treats the data stored in the data lake is data. But in delta lake, it treats the data which is stored that is not treated as data. The data stored and only the data is finally committed, that will be treated as data. That is the beauty of the delta lake feature.